Flosstube. It's Valerie at Stitching in the Barn, and I am coming to you to talk about mostly cross stitch. A few other things always pop into the conversation. And today is January the 24th, I think. It's Friday. I know it's Friday. So somewhere around January 24th. I hope you've all been well. I hope you're having a good new year. I've been busy. Last week I drove out to Ohio, and I did not talk about this ahead of time because, I was nervous about the weather. And what was the weather going to be like? Well, the weather was kind to me, and it was 40 degrees or something, 50 degrees. And I drove out to Ohio, had a night with my cousin, saw my daughter at college, and then kept driving to Houston Woods State Park, which is where Keepsakes Cross-Stitch store was holding its Stitch Away event. And I got talked into signing up for Stitch Away last year. I'm holding Jan, the finisher, responsible mostly for this. And she said it's a really fun, relaxed event. People are in their pajamas. You can wear your slippers. It's just days of being blissfully relaxed and in a beautiful spot and stitching. And that sounded great to me. So then I signed up, and then she said, oh, and by the way, last year there was a total blizzard, and we were all snowed in. And I was going, oh, no. I thought, oh, what have I done? Why did I sign up for this in January? But I got lucky. It was fine. The weather was fine. There was snow. There was some ice, but it didn't affect us at all. And the place has a restaurant right there, so there was no need. The first day I was too shy to wear my slippers. I only went for Friday and Saturday. They did hold it. I think some people started arriving Wednesday evening, so they were there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and some into Sunday. I only arrived Friday morning, and I was too shy to wear my slippers Friday, but by Saturday I was wearing my slippers, I can assure you. It was a fantastic event. Barbara and the Keepsakes gang puts on a wonderful retreat, and it was just fun and stitching and relaxing and camaraderie, and it was lovely. I didn't talk about it because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it, but I was very happy that I was able to go. And I will tell you more about it a little bit later. I thought first I would just quickly answer some questions and go over some of the comments I had. One of the things people said was that they had a hard time hearing me, so I'm really trying to speak up today. I hope I'm not blasting you with my loud projected voice, but I don't want somebody to strain and have to put the volume up, and then if I put music on, suddenly their ears are exploding. So I'm trying to speak a little louder. I think also when I film these videos, sometimes my husband and my son are rattling around the house, and I feel a bit shy. So I have to just get over that and speak up. Questions I had, a couple of people said, how does a fraktur relate to cross-stitch? They looked up the word fraktur and they did not understand how that could be a cross-stitch thing. Well, the way I interpret it is that fraktur, some of you have heard this explanation before, so forgive me if I'm boring you, but the word fraktur refers to a style of writing originally. Originally, I think the monks would copy all the biblical verses in a beautiful italic script, sort of Italian Renaissance style. And then, I forget the date, but the fraktur style sort of evolved mostly out of Germany, and the letters were a different style of lettering. They were separate, in other words, fractured. So So like the G might go like that instead of being linked. I will insert photographs to illustrate what I'm talking about. Well, over time, this fractured writing, and of course, as they did the copying out of the books, they also did beautiful illustrations. Well, this predominantly German style fractured writing evolved into a sort of folk art style. So when I talk about a fraktur, the year of frakturs, I want to do fraktur patterns. I want to do patterns that are in that sort of Germanic folk art style. And Kathy Barrick has a lot of them. Teresa Baird has some. Yeah, she does. Teresa Kogut has some. Lots of designers have done them over the years. And Paulette Stewart has some. I think maybe even Brenda Gervais has some. So I will put pictures in so you get I'm sorry I keep bouncing you too. I will put pictures in so you get a sense of what I'm talking about. I hope that explains how you can refer to something as being a fraktur cross stitch, because it's really the folk art style, primitive sort of style of birds and tulips and fractured letters, and usually vases and vines and things like that. Other questions, somebody asked me about Henry the Snowman, and I will put a picture in of him and tell you all about it. It was all through the night designs. And I will, I've read each and every one of your comments, believe it or not. There were 297 so far. I've read them all. I have not had time to respond to any of them, but I'm hoping to go through and quickly respond to everybody, at least give you a thumbs up or a heart or something so you know that I've read your comments, because that to me is the best part of doing these videos, is getting to know you all and hearing what's on your mind and what you're stitching and what you're wondering about, and a little bit about your life as well. And I want you all to realize I do read all those comments. Just things have been going on and I haven't been able to answer them, but I intend to. So I will write out all the information about Henry the Little Snowman that I showed last week. Someone also wanted to know about the linen for the glitter houses. It was the called for linen that has a little sparkle in it. I don't usually go for glittery, but for that I thought that'd be really fun for the little putz houses, as I call them, the glitter houses, the Little House Needleworks design. I'll put a picture of that, and I will answer your comment and tell you exactly what linen. Someone else said, could I please hold up my patterns longer? And I think truthfully I was a bit embarrassed by all the whips I had, and that's not all of them. I mean, that was one basket out of my living room, and I told you I have like 3 more in my living room, plus all the things I have stashed in the barn. So I felt embarrassed about it, and some of you kindly said, please don't feel embarrassed. You love this craft, you're passionate about it, go with it. So thank you for those comments. I really appreciate that. A word about haul as well, because I'm always a little embarrassed to do haul. And I had a wonderful conversation with the designer at Stitch Away, Chris Ann Tellen of Tellen Emblem, and I'm going to be discussing her patterns in a bit, but we laughed about it and we said, it's embarrassing, this haul business. You feel a bit like a teenager doing an unboxing of an expensive handbag or something. There's a little bit of, I don't want to be, it's not, like you don't want to say, oh, I bought this and I bought this and I brag about, how many things I got or whatever. I guess I worry that it comes off as bragging, and it's not meant to be that way at all. And I was trying to explain that I actually really enjoy watching other people show haul, because you get to see all the patterns and get inspired to think, well, I might like to stitch that. So in that way, I'll keep doing it. But it is funny. What else am I going to say about that? Oh, I had noticed there was a trend for a while that other floss tubers would say, instead of saying I bought this, I went to the store, blah, blah store, and I bought these patterns, they'd always say things like, I picked this up. Oh, I picked this pattern up. Oh, and I picked this up, and I picked that up. And I was thinking, no, you didn't. You bought that. But I recognized it as a little bit of embarrassment, a little bit of shyness about saying, oh, look what I bought, because you don't want to come off that way. You know what I mean? Anyway. Insight into my strange and sorry brain. I wanted to go over some of the comments that I got about what people's plans are, because I found that fascinating. It inspires me to think, oh, I might add that to my plan, or I didn't know about that, or something. So a lot of you are planning to do samplers this year, big projects. Some people stitching from stash. Some people said no rules at all. I am not having any rules, and that's my plan, which I liked. Some of the big ones that got mentioned over and over again were Savior's Praise, His Eyes on the Sparrow, Quaker Designs, Lady of the Flag came up quite a lot. So I thought that was interesting. Some people said they're going to try a Haid for the first time, where you complete coverage design. Some people are stitching seasonally. Some people want to try biscornus for the first time. Some people, like me, are multi-crafters. I'm sure almost all of you are. And there are going to be people out there embroidering, crocheting, punch needling. A couple of people said they first need to spend time organizing their room, their stitchy stuff, and that was part of the big plans for 2020. And I think, yes, amen, I need to do that as well. Some people are participating in SALs for the first time. A lot of people are following Priscilla's rotation, where she does a different day of the week, like Santa Sunday, I forget what it is. I forget her rotation, but, each day of the week she stitches on a different spooky Saturday or something like that, so that she's doing Halloween on Saturday, Christmas on Sundays, that kind of thing. Some people vowed they were going to try and do 5-day-a-week stitching. Some people said 6 days a week. Some people are doing Christmas stitching. Some people said, I'm going to try not to be monogamous, and other people said, I'm going to be monogamous. Some people set a limit, like they wanted 20 new projects, and they were planning to try and get more finished. People are trying Bristol samplers for the first time. A lot of people are doing an ornament a month. One person is doing an advent calendar, which I was very curious about. She said this has been in the works for a long time, and I didn't know if it was a stitched advent calendar or what. A couple people are making presents to give away, which I thought, wow, that's fantastic and generous of you. People doing prairie schooler Santas. Some people want to be more spontaneous and just pick up whatever they feel like when they feel like it. Some people are going to do Lost and Floss's idea of finish it February, where they don't start anything new and they try and complete as many things as possible. And also, I think part of that might be trying to fully finish some objects as well. One person's said she's going to release her first cross-stitch designs this year, so that's very exciting. Excuse me. Some people said, I just want to take time to sit and stitch. One person said they wanted to make sure they keep a stitch journal this year. Some people are trying to focus on finishing smalls. Some people are going to try framing. Some people are saying, just stitch all the things, stitch as much as I can. Other people said they want to keep up with the clubs they've joined. Some people said, I want to try and go to retreat for the first time. Other people said, I've signed up for these retreats. Now I have to make a small for the retreat. So that's their first goal for 2020. People are doing wedding gifts. One woman is doing fancy Disney princess dresses for her granddaughters, which sounded fantastic. That sounds like a real seamstress to me. Like I can quilt, I can sew a straight line and piece fabric that I've cut up to make a quilt, but I'm not what I would consider a seamstress, where I'm making clothes and fitting it to somebody's body and doing darts and pin tucks and all those lovely little things that my grandmother used to do. One woman is stitching memorial pieces for friends and loved ones, which I thought was very nice, because you're very mindful of them as you're stitching. It's sort of a meditative way to honor and remember them, which I liked. What else? Some people are participating in Mania. Some people said they're definitely not participating in Mania. Some people said they wanted to learn to weave. Some people want to make vinyl bags. Some people want to learn to quilt, sew, knit. One person wants to stitch one project a week. Somebody else wants to do one sampler a month, which is very ambitious, and then have a sampler wall. One person is doing Christmas, or a couple people are doing Christmas stockings for their grandchildren. What else? Other people like me want to make pin keeps and scissor fobs and needle books. Some I don't know that they're clubs, but some groups that I heard about that sounded like fun. I know about the School of Magical Stitches, but there's also apparently a group called the Semi-Sane Stitchers, and the Whip Go group, and the What Whip group. So I haven't looked into it, but I'm guessing that the last few are to encourage you to get rid of your whips, to work on things that you have going already. 2 questions I forgot earlier. Do I stitch in hand? Yes, I do, mostly. I do have a frame. I do have a stand. I do have Q-snaps. I do have wooden rolly things, but I mostly stitch in hand. It's just so much faster for me. I do not worry about the oils from my fingers because I always wash my hands before I start stitching, and I figure whatever oil is on there, it's going to be on there. It's not going to kill it, I hope. I do not wash my projects, therefore. Unless I were to spill something on it accidentally, I would not wash it. You know, I had, like many of you, I had stitched a lot in the 80s where you had to follow all these rules, where you started in the middle of a piece of fabric and you washed your thing afterwards and had to soak it till the water ran clear. And I think that was mostly because people were stitching with DMC, which is pretty well color fast. However, when I got back into stitching after, many years lull, I found some pieces I'd stitched. I thought, oh, I should wash these. So I plunked them in water, not even thinking I had used fancy floss for them. I'd used the variegated, over-dyed, hand-dyed floss. So, of course, they ran. And I did, I'm not a very patient person. I soaked them a bit more, thinking it ran clean. Oh, that looks like it's cleaned it up. Yanked them out. They've dried. You can still see that they've run. So I am not a big fan of washing them. So the answer to those is yes, I mostly stitch in hand. I don't worry about the oils because I always wash my hands first before I begin stitching. And I do not wash the projects. So I hope that answers the questions. I pulled some winners for the giveaways. If you remember, I had hit 4,000 subscribers, so I wanted to give away some lovely patterns. And the first one was Belle Snickle's Christmas Wishes, which is this pattern. It's a Teresa Baird Heart's Ease Exemplary Works pattern. And the lucky winner of this is Christine King. So Christine, I will put information below on how to email me or contact me, personal message me through Instagram, and I will be happy to mail this out to you. Congratulations. Number 2 was Belle Snickle's Christmas Journey. This one, again, Teresa Baird. The winner of that was Susan Edwards. So Susan Edwards, congratulations. Number 3 was Susanna Lynch, this beautiful pattern by Lila Studio. The lucky winner of that is Christina Haynes, Haines. So Christina, congratulations, and get in touch with me. And number 4 was the, again, Teresa Baird, the French Bee Etui, and the little kit that goes with it. And the winner of that is Mary Goodenow. So Mary, congratulations, and I will be happy to get this in the mail. Just get in touch with me and give me your address, and I will pop those in the mail for you. Congratulations, everybody. Now I will tell you about my experience at Stitch Away, which I've already kind of described was fantastic. The one funny thing is that it's an Indian lodge. I mean, it's built, it looks kind of like a ski chalet, you know, it's this triangular design, which is maybe also supposed to be representational of a teepee. I just thought of that now, but there were murals everywhere. And if you're a Parks and Recs fan, you know where I'm going with this. The television show Parks and Recs always had a big joke about the murals that were on the walls in their township building. So the whole weekend there were murals everywhere, and I kept giggling to myself because I kept thinking about that. So I'll put in one as an illustration. One fellow who was there at the restaurant or something saw me looking at this mural, and he said, I think these were done as part of Roosevelt's Work Progress Administration, you know, where they were putting artists to work. He said these Indian lodges and things were built then, and I don't know if he's accurate or not. I should have looked up the history of the lodges. But it was a fantastic event. It was a fantastic place to stay. I had a wonderful time. Let's see, I saw Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching. I saw Marcy from Instagram, who I got to know. We realized I got to know her when there was that Know Your Stitcher challenge on Instagram, and I just felt like we bonded then. And so it was really great to see her in person. I got to see Buckeye Stitcher. I got to see a bunch of friends that I'd met from StitchCon. And I saw Cupcake Stitcher, and I don't want to miss anybody, but I saw Jen the finisher and her sister, and spent a lot of fun time with them, and Susan and Linny from Keepsakes, and Barb and her husband, and it was just a really great time. And I met at my table. It was funny because I got there on Friday morning, and I think people had mostly arrived the day before, so the tables looked completely full to me, and I'm looking around, and I saw a table that had a spot open, and nobody was sitting at the table because it was lunchtime, and I think they'd all gone off to have lunch. So I just plunked myself down, and when they came back, I was like, surprise, I've joined your table, hope you don't mind. And they were all so gracious. And what was funny was there were 2 sets of sisters stitching at my table, which was really fun. And we had a great time. I enjoyed it very much. And so thank you to everybody for being so welcoming. And if anybody's interested in that event, contact Keepsakes, because I think it's always held in January. And Barbara's thought process is after the holiday hoopla ends, you know, it's something nice. You take a little weekend, a quiet time and stitching, and get together with friends and enjoy yourself. And I think if I lived closer, I would absolutely do this every year. I'm just not sure the weather will be so kind to me in the future, so it makes me a little nervous about signing up again, but we'll see. You never know. Never say never. Okay, one of my joys at Stitch Away was getting to meet Chris Ann Tellen, who is the amazingly talented designer of Tellen Emblem. And I had seen Talon Emblem designs at StitchCon because they had a trunk show, and loved them. And the funny thing is I had actually talked to Chris Ann, just chatting to her, having no idea that she was the designer. And so they're saying, oh, the designer for Stitch Away is going to be Chris Ann Talon. I'm like, oh, that's nice. You know, I love her designs. Well, when she stood up, I'm like, I know her. We talked at StitchCon last year. So that was really fun. And we were so lucky. You know, of course, when you go to retreats, they often give you some little goodies. And we got many, many from Barbara and Keepsakes, but from Chris Ann, we got this lovely little pattern. I guess I can show it. I don't know if this is being released if this has already been released, or if this is going to be released at Market this year. But it's a new series she's got of tiles. So they look like little ceramic tiles. And I'm not going to show again in case I wasn't supposed to, but it was lovely. Her inspiration is always nature. And it was just fascinating to me to get to talk to another designer and find out what inspires them and what their process is a little bit. And her background is that she has a degree in fine art from Carnegie Mellon and has lived and studied in different interesting cities around the world, and comes to it very much from an artist's perspective. I did get to sit down with her and do a little teeny weeny little interview. Problem was it was Saturday night, late, and we were both so tired. I don't know if you can hear my voice, but you know, she was tired, I was tired. I didn't want to keep her up too late, but we had been chatting all weekend, of course, and then when we sat down to film, you know, I was like, oh. So I hope you get a sense of her as a wonderful designer and a wonderful person, and I will show you what I got. I'm going to put in I'm going to show you the film that I shot with her. I'll put in some other pictures of her work and her design work that I've taken off the internet, and I will also show you a pattern I bought at the trunk show. I don't know that this has a name. I think it's just called Still Life Sampler Dahlia, number 110. So that is, it's just so pretty and simple, and always has things of nature in it. So this has a bee and flowers and a pear and a strawberry, and she always puts a little emblem which you can choose to include in the finished piece or not. We were given a choice of 2 new designs which are going to be at Market. Ready? So I bought one. I was given one and then I bought another because of course I had to have them both. And she wrote lovely little poems for them. One says, of all the endeavors she undertakes, it is her stitching that yields cherished keepsakes, which is fun for a commemorative piece for a weekend spent with Keepsakes. Cross-stitch shop. And the other one says, please look upon this needlework token as a symbol of true love unspoken. So I thought those were lovely, and I was just thrilled to get to meet her and spend time with her and appreciate her designs and design process, and that was a real thrill for me. And I'm hoping she's coming to StitchCon because I would love to continue the conversation there. And you know, Teresa Kokut is hoping to go to, I think planning to go to StitchCon as well, so it'd be really fun to get the 2 designers together and see, you know, if they can excite each other, inspire each other. Hello Flosstube, it's Valerie, and I'm here at the Houston Woods State Lodge, which is a very cool place in Western Ohio that we have come to attend Stitch Away 2020, organized by Barbara Hills of Keepsakes store. And I have with me a special treat for you. I have the fabulous designer, Chris Ann Talon, and I'm just going to introduce you to her and let her tell you a little bit of her story. So hold on a sec. Hi, Chris Ann. It's Valerie.
Hi, Valerie.
Chris Ann Talon, you have been a designer for how long?
Not quite 5 years.
And your background was fine arts.
Yes.
So you had a degree in painting and drawing?
Drawing, mostly drawing.
Okay. Mm-hmm. With a tremendous love of nature.
Yes.
always nature.
Source of inspiration.
And what inspired you to start designing needlework?
The notion that I could create a chart or a pattern that I would place in the hands of other people so that they could create their own art. Like as an artist, when I went to art school, we made things. We made drawings, we made paintings, we made designs. And at some point in my life, when my kids started to get older, I lost the desire to make things and gained sort of an interest in providing other people the means to make what I thought were artful things.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever think about teaching?
Briefly, when I was younger, I thought about teaching college,
Uh-huh.
and I did not.
Uh-huh, it just didn't work out in your life pattern.
Right.
Well, I know the little talk you gave us at Stitch Away, you said when you first walked into a needle shop, you were so inspired by the wall of floss colors.
Yes.
And something you said in that talk, you said you realized that the artists who worked in that medium would not be limited, their imagination would not be limited. And I thought that was such a cool way to phrase things.
Because not knowing even what floss was and just seeing a wall of DMC thread in hundreds of colors made me realize that if I chose to do this craft, I would not be constrained or limited by certain colors.
And had you done other, no textile art
Did
whatsoever?
not have a grandma that did needlework, didn't have a mom that did, no, nothing like that.
But you saw these patterns and you thought, well, I could translate my visions, my drawings into needlework form.
I thought I'm sketching things all the time. Maybe I could translate those sketches into needlework designs.
Now, what is your favorite thing to sketch with?
Probably pencil.
Just the different weights of pencil.
Yeah.
And then do you usually color them with colored pencils?
Sometimes. Or charcoal.
But not paint so much. It's more
not
pencil
so
drawings.
Much anymore now.
And then obviously you take your drawings and put them in and make them into cross-stitch patterns in some sort of
Yes, it's not technologically, it's all, in other words, I don't scan them and anything like that. I actually sketch on graph paper.
Oh, cool. The old-fashioned way.
Yes, because when I went to college, we made images with stumps of charcoal and pieces of paper.
Exactly.
Not screens and styluses, you know?
Right. Well, that is funny because my husband just got an iPad for Christmas, and he's having fun drawing on it. You know, it's got he's got all the pencil and the thing, and you know, when he's on the phone with, I shouldn't be saying this on Flosstube, but when he's on a business call, you know, or a meeting or something, he's actually drawing the whole time. But I have a photograph I'm going to insert that I took. Barbara Hills, who owns Keepsakes, did a great trunk show of your work. And unfortunately, I only got one photograph of the whole display. But I'll try and put it in so that they can get a sense. But there's such lovely things with florals and birds and butterflies. So those are really your favorite things.
Seems to be my fallback.
And the name of your company is Tellin Emblem. So Tellin, your last name, and then the story of Emblem.
It was just an interest. Several years ago, I collected books on coats of arms and the imagery used and the symbolism behind a lot of choices that different families made for their coats of arms. And also just the word emblem. I created my logo as an my logo.
And I noticed that on each pattern there's a little emblem that you can sew into. Yeah.
Or choose not to, but
Or
yes.
choose not to. Which I thought was a cool little additional thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of your patterns, you have no objection to people wanting to alter them. You said you applaud that.
I think it's part of the creative process. I think that I create it, whereas I do agonize over my color choices, and I think they're fine the way they are. I celebrate anybody's choice to make their own aesthetic choices and go from there.
Yeah. Now excuse me, I'm having trouble speaking.
It's been a very fun but tiring and exhausting few days. But it's been great to meet you.
It's been a lot of late night stitching, so I've hugely enjoyed meeting you. Nashville Market is coming up, and I know that you have some fabulous designs that are going to be launched. Do you want to give us a tiny little flash sneak peek?
Of the two we just launched here in Stitchway?
That would be great. All right, so... All right, it's going to be a super fast little... There's one, there's the pink version, and it's a poem written by Chris Ann, and it sort of commemorates friendship and
love for the craft.
Love of this craft, yeah. Right. And so it's really a stitcher's emblem, sort of.
True.
And then the blue version.
This is a different design, similar sentiment, different saying.
Okay, quick flash. Can't show too much because we want to keep it a fun thing.
It's going to be released. They'll both be released in Nashville.
And then there's going to be a couple companion pieces as well that go with them.
Right.
A pink version and a blue version. Is there anything else you'd like people to know about your designs, or?
Oh, just that everything's a work in progress. It's taken me a few years to do this, get up to doing this full-time instead of part-time, and it changes your whole method of working when you're not doing something part-time anymore.
Right.
So, you know, you have a different relationship with...
Have you had to take on all the business side and the production of the pattern side, or you've
now
taken
I'm doing
that on
it
as
all, right. Sometimes I get the help of my adult children on various things. But
yeah, I know different artists I've heard talk about that. Some do it all themselves, some do part of it themselves and farm part of it out, but it's...
Right now I'm unable to relinquish control of it.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to mask, you know, keep it.
But your designs are fabulous, and we've all so enjoyed getting to know you and have a chance to stitch your beautiful things. So
it's been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Meet you in person and chat with you, and I have a feeling we'll be doing more.
Absolutely, I hope so. So thank you so much, Kristen.
Thanks, Valerie.
Bye. I will quickly show you what I've been working on. Mostly my stitch-alongs for Fat Quarter Shop. I'm doing this one, which is Quilty Love. Oops, backside of it. Quilty Love by Valerie Holt. And it's a stitch-along hosted by Fat Quarter Shop. And I'm having a lot of fun with this. I don't have a lot of Valentine's designs, so that's why I'm doing this one. I've switched the linen. I think the last time I talked to you, I was starting it on this rough, larger count linen. I just wasn't feeling it. So I found at the trunk show at Stitchaway, I found this piece of 32 count Dames of the Needle Brun Lapin, which is brown rabbit. And it has a tiny touch of pink to it, which is what I thought was so pretty with the Valerie Holt pattern. So that's going to be my Valentine stitch. And it gets rickrack, white rickrack gets sewn between the rows. And then you put these little colorful buttons in the center of the Valentines as well. Well, center of the quilt motifs, I should say. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to repeat this motif over here, repeat this motif over here, and on the third row do the same, repeat this one over here, so that it's squarer rather than oblong, and that way I could make it into a little pillow. Because by doing it on the 32 count, it's probably going to be about, if I add the extra row, probably be about that size. And I thought that would make a really sweet little Valentine pillow. I'll probably just do it in a square rather than a heart shape, but I'm having fun with that. I just like the way it looks on that sort of brownish grayish linen, and it does have a pinky tone to it. I don't know if that's picking up or not, but I thought that looked kind of swell. And the other thing, of course, I'm doing is the Bloomtopia stitch along. Oops, I'm sorry. I keep doing that to you. Oh, and somebody else said, please hold your patterns up longer. Did I already talk about this? I may be repeating myself, but I think my flashing things up and down was my embarrassment of how many whips I had, and also, if I'm showing stash or things I bought or something, I get a little embarrassed, as I discussed. So I think that's why I was going so fast, but I will try and not do that in the future. I'll try and hold the pattern longer and speak louder. I am doing Bloomtopia stitch along with the Fat Quarter Shop, and it is a fundraiser for Make-A-Wish Foundation. They are hoping to raise $50,000. If they can get people to donate, the patterns are absolutely free, but you are invited to Make-A-Wish, to donate to Make-A-Wish. And then Fat Quarter Shop and Moda Fabrics are going to each donate $10,000 with the hopes that we reach $50,000. So it's a great cause. It launches February 1st. They're going to release a new section of this pattern every 2 weeks. So like this would be section 1, this is section 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the border, something like that. I forget the actual countdown, but to me it looked like a really fun spring sort of sampler, and I thought about doing it in primitive colors, and then I thought, no, I'm going to pretty much stick with it the way it is, because as I said, I don't have a lot of springy Valentine sort of stitching. I mostly have sort of prim and Christmas and Halloween-y stuff, so this really appealed to me. I'm doing it on a 40 count linen. I can tell you, if you go to Fat Quarter Shop, and I will put links below for where you can donate and where you can get the supplies, they have kitted up floss pack. If you want to stitch it like this, they've got floss packs, they've got aurifil packs, they've got pewter Lugana in a 25 count, I think it is, which is how the sample was done. I think I can show you this. Hope so. Hope I'm not getting in trouble. Or maybe I'm supposed to wait till February 1st. In which case, you've just seen a little sneak peek of mine. It's coming out really tiny, so I think I'm going to end up with a little pillow about this size, maybe. Something like that, which I think would be really cute. It's Picture This Plus Dapple 40 count linen. So I can show you the linen anyway. So that's what I'm doing it on. It's a little bit grayer than the pewter Lugana, but it has the same effect, and I really like it. So I'm very excited to be participating in those, but I've mostly been working on that. I think I made a tiny bit of progress on my horse since last we spoke. This is Horse Country Holiday, done in the prim conversion from Spring Green Country Sampler. Sorry, I'll hold it longer. Horse Country Holiday, the prim conversion. And he is on 32 count brash, Picture This Plus. I love him. I didn't stitch on him at Stitch Away because I was working on the stitch alongs for Fat Quarter Shop. But I really would like to finish him by February 1st, because then I can do the hashtag for Farm Girl and say I finished my Stitch 9 challenge. So I don't think it will take me that long to finish him. I just need to sit down and devote the time to him. He goes very fast, and I've loved stitching him every second of the way. I got cold there. I had to put a sweater on. I thought I would show you, I have another bag full of kitted, and some started, some just kitted projects, but you seem to like seeing all my whips last time, even though it was embarrassing for me, and people said, oh no, don't be embarrassed. So, okay, I'm not going to be embarrassed. I'm just going to keep going. This is just a little bag sitting in the living room that I keep some stuff in. So I'll show you what's in there too. This is all kitted up. I do not believe I've started this, but I would love to do this. It's To Quote Shakespeare by Brenda Gervais. And the pattern has, you know, to do this little box as well as the little sewing inside. And it's all kitted up, ready to roll. I just have to do it. I don't know if the little strawberry is part of it as well. I don't think so. I should know, but I don't. Anyway, love, love, love it. Oh, Stacy Nash Primitive. Henrietta, this one I have done a tiny bit on. I just adore her. I think she's so wonderful. I have some of the other animals too. I have the little black and white rabbit. What else do I have? I know I have two others. Anyway, I just think they're fantastic. I'd love to do them all. Henrietta. Oh, Plum Street, Sampler, Jack Sweet's shop, the birthday tart. I did Olga's tart. Now I need to do the birthday tart as a sort of companion. Again, this is all kitted up. I don't think I've put a stitch in it though. But I just love that. Just a little fun thing to set out at fall, autumn time. Oh, here's another one of those homespun sampler. I have to show this fast because the picture is kind of the pattern, but it's just a little primitive sampler sort of thing. It's called Laura Jane Stitchin' with an apostrophe, Laura Jane Stitchin', a mini sampler by Homespun Sampler. I don't know what the date was, but that is old. I think that's pre-children, and as I said, my eldest is 26, so that's a pretty old pattern. Here's another Brenda Gervais, When Flowers Blossom. I believe I have the tray, the little wooden tray and everything for this. It's all kitted up. Gorgeous. Can't wait to do it. Haven't started it. Plum Street Samplers, American Sampler. Love this. I think I've put a few stitches in this because look, I've got a thread of the linen from here and it's been folded up and stuffed back in there. But that's American Sampler. Plum Street Sampler. Give me a calm and thankful heart, from every murmur free, the blessings of thy grace impart, preserve our liberty. Very nice. Thank you, Paulette. Another beautiful design. Okay, what do we got? Holiday Hoopla, 4th of July, all kitted up, including the hoop. I think I have all of these patterns and all the hoops and all the fabric and all the floss. I haven't done them. Stacy Nash Primitives, From Me to Thee Sewing Roll. Love that. Kitted, not stitched. This isn't that old a pattern, I don't think. Did this just come out last year? Let me see if I can tell. Hold on. 2017. So, 2017. Slightly older than I thought, but not that old. Oh, Spring at Hollyberry Farm, Stacy Nash. Gorgeous. Love it. All kitted. Ready to go. Not started. Another homespun sampler, little mini sampler. I'm going to do these super fast because they are the pattern. ABC, and Just For You. And there's one more. No, that's it. I think that's it of those. Okay, what do we got? Oh, Little House Needleworks Autumn's ABCs. One of those ones you've always meant to do and you just never get around to doing it. Plus, I think Priscilla was clever in some of her substitutions, and I wanted to go back and see what it was she'd changed out. Maybe she made the pumpkins darker or something. I can't remember. But it's cute. It's cute as it is. That's Little House Needleworks. Oh, Erica Michaels Berry Berry. This is one to do on silk gauze. And that has just intimidated the pants off me. So I've never started it. However, I was the big winner of the Dying to Stitch Berry Club. So I need to get over my fear of berries and, as Teresa Baird would say, suck it up and do it. Because I am very excited to have won that club membership. And so I will be getting strawberries to do next year. They probably won't all be on gauze. Maybe they'll be on linen. But I had already bought this one years ago. Located. Just a couple more. Here's the Scarlet House Morning Walk. I think this came out last year. Yeah, 2019. Really cute with the little dogs. She kind of reminded me of Leslie Caron, Gigi, a little French girl walking along with the poodles or something. I don't know if they are poodles, but it just kind of looked like Gigi to me. Floss and fabric. Ready to roll. Gosh, I was going to do it on this dark fabric. That's interesting. This is 40 count, picture this plus ale. And it calls for exactly that, but look at the difference in the color. That's what the model looks like. And that's what the ale looks like. Isn't that interesting? I might rethink that. I'll have to do a floss toss, which I hardly ever do because I'm so impatient. If I get the stuff together, I just dive right in and then I go, oh, that doesn't quite look right to me. I should learn to be patient. That should be one of my goals for this year. Do a floss toss and see if I like it on that darker ale or if I would like to try and find a lighter colored linen. I have this cute little lavender sachet that my sister-in-law gave me years ago. I think probably about 20 years ago, and I've never done it. It even had lavender seeds in it, which I'm sure don't have much of a scent, but I could get some oil and drop it on them, or I could just get some new lavender. We actually, it's funny, I was watching Carol Saltbach Stitcher one day, and she's talking about, oh, I send for lavender from this lavender farm in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I thought, hang on, that's like 10 minutes from my house, so I could just go over there and get my own lavender. So, although I think they had trouble with the crop. They either had too much rain last summer or too little rain, I can't remember, but, so I'm excited to do that, because that would be a cute little thing. That'd be a nice little gift for somebody, too. And the final thing was all the Little House ABC sampler patterns. That's the first one. I've got them all in here. I know the fabric I was going to use to do them all on. And I have all the floss ready to go. Just haven't done it. That'd be a fun one because those patterns are quite straightforward, and you can just sit and like when I did the early Americans, I just found that very enjoyable, relaxing stitching because each little pattern is a complete story unto itself, and it's just fun to watch them evolve and grow, and not difficult stitching. So I really had fun with that. So I am looking forward to doing that. I just haven't done it. So there you have a few more. Oh, what a shame. A few more of my... I figure maybe if I show them to you, then I will be reminded to do them. Yes? You think? Let's see how that works out. if you know about my little secrets, then I will be held to task. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So, I have one more thing I want to talk about, which makes me very, very, very sad. Our dear friend Leanne from Lost and Floss could really use your prayers right now and all your good wishes and everything you can send her way, because she's really having a tough time with her struggle, her health right now. So let's shower her with all the love and affection we feel for her, because she's such a wonderful person. She is, you know, I instantly felt like I'd known her my whole life. She is so much fun. She's so upbeat. She's so positive. Just a huge heart, and so generous and friendly, and I just love her. And I think she has felt supported by the cross-stitch community, and I think it would be really nice if we could shower her with love and let her realize, you know, that is true, that we all send her our love and support. And you know, her journey is a tough one, and you know, she could really use our help now. So if you could do that for me, that would be fantastic. And I do have a giveaway for next time. You know, where have I put it? I think next time I'm going to give away these two patterns, which were gifted to me, Fragments in Time. It's Summer House Stitchworks, the Meeting House, which is number 5, and the Herb Garden, which is number 6. So if you could just tell me in the comments which one you'd rather have. If you'd rather have the Meeting House, which is number 5, or the Herb Garden is number 6. So, I hope you've all been well. I hope you all get lots of stitching done. I hope you all send Leanne tons of love. And until next time, I wish you all good things. Bye.